Okay, so my name's Elizabeth, and we talked a little bit over the phone about you guys coming in today and that you had some concerns to address. What would you like to talk about?
I have lots of little concerns,
Mm-hmm.
and they sometimes like I should get over it. I know, and I don't. Where I feel like my partner here, pretty much doesn't hang on to things like I do, and so the things that are big deals to me aren't big deals to him. And I can't let go of things, and it bothers me. But then when there's something that comes up later on that really bothers him, then he rehashes everything, and he's way more detailed than I am. So he remembers the date and the time and the color of shirt I was wearing, and then I feel like I have like no defense, and that sometimes.
Can you give me an example of a time where he showed that to you?
I feel like sometimes when we have discussions about about like everything, he says, no, that's not how it happened, it was this. No, the sky wasn't blue, it was teal. No, the weather wasn't cold outside, it was just above freezing.
And how does that make you feel when she says that?
I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to... Well, just say. I mean,
It's okay.
She's not...
It's just between us.
I know, but
So when she says that, you don't, you always have it held on and you know the details and you're always right. How does that make you feel when she tells you that?
I'm not always right.
You feel that you're not always right, yet when we have conversations, you make me feel like I'm wrong.
No.
Like I have to justify myself.
What are you talking about?
So when she tells you that right now,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel when she says that to you?
Do you feel like you aren't that way?
No.
How do you feel that you are? When you correct me, how do you feel? I guess I don't understand like what you're coming from. Like if you're just trying to like add to whatever conversation I'm saying, or if you're actually trying to correct what I say because I'm wrong.
I never tried to correct anything.
Okay, so how does it
I
make
don't- I
you
don't
feel?
feel that.
You said it made you feel.
There's a lot of things that frustrate me. So that's one of the things that frustrates me, that I can like express a feeling and I get the response of, no, that's not it. No, that's not the case. No, that's not how you feel. And then it makes me more frustrated.
And what are some ways that you kind of communicate that to him?
I'm pretty good about being vocal and expressing how I feel or how he makes me feel. I feel like where some of our communication issues are is in his response. That if I say, that hurt my feelings, or that was really rude, or you probably shouldn't say those things out loud, the response, that I would like to have is more of, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That's not how I meant for you to feel. And I'll try to be better, instead of, no, that's not what I said. No, that's not how I made you feel. No, that's not correct. Or, well, then you should have.
So, Nate, do you kind of feel like defensive when she says that? Like she's trying to maybe start an argument with you or get defensive and kind of push back?
No, because I don't feel like I'm doing any of that.
Right, but when she says that to you, does it feel like you're doing that? Or do you
No.
think it's just her saying that?
Because she sees things different than I do.
So how do you see it?
Totally different.
Which is how? How do you see it differently?
Hey, let's put it this way. I see things as they happen,
Mhm.
and I don't care.
Mhm.
I don't. It's happen and happen.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna carry with me.
Mhm.
It just happened.
Hold on to it.
Just like it never happened.
Mhm. And how does that make you feel when he says that?
And then she
That's
takes,
not how I. That's not how
Yeah.
I see him reacting.
and then she takes everything like.
She takes everything and what? Holds on to it?
Like
Lets it go?
it has to be done this way, or should done that way.
Mm.
It has to be a certain way. No, just like let it slip, right?
It's true. I agree to that. I know that I had been a single parent for a very long time, and to survive, I had to learn how to do things more efficiently for what I know works for me and my family. And when someone new comes in and says, "No, that's not how you do it this way," and I know that it works another way, then I get frustrated because I feel like I'm wasting time. And time is super precious. I don't have time.
Wasting time with what?
With trying to explain or teach or reteach. And because of the hearing issues, I'm calling you deaf, which I know you hate. And I know it's a sensitive subject, but it is reality. You know you can't hear very well at all, and other people make comments to me about you not being able to hear, or asking why you're being rude, or why you ignored them, or that sort of a thing that makes me feel like, why don't we just address this? And I get so frustrated because I repeat myself more times in trying to talk about everyday sort of stuff and the things that are important to me, that at a certain point I shut myself down. That I now in my head say I'm choosing my battles, and repeating myself over and over and over is not
Helpful.
to me. It's helpful to him, but then I get more frustrated when he doesn't hear me, and I know it's important, and I really want it. It's important to me, and I want him to hear me. And he says what again because he's on his phone or on the iPad or on the computer or doing something else, and I feel like if I'm sharing, this is really selfish of me, but I feel like if I'm sharing something, it's important. Everything out of my mouth is important.
Right.
Which I know is like everybody probably feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
Stop making fun of me behind the camera. But it's important to me, and I feel like if I say something or I want to share my day, I want him to hear me. I want him to look at me. I want him to acknowledge me. And so when I don't get an acknowledgement, I assume, which I know is bad to do, that he doesn't hear me. So then I say, "Did you hear what I said?" And he says, "Yes." And then I have to say, "Okay," because I don't believe him. "What did I say?" And he repeats something I said recently, but not the part that I wanted him to hear. And then I get more frustrated, and then my feelings get hurt, feeling like he doesn't listen, he isn't taking what I say seriously or personally, that I'm always repeating myself. And I feel like sometimes it would be a lot easier to have a friend who would listen to me and who did care what I had to say.
How does it make you feel when she says that?
In looking at your
Wow.
response, yeah. It's a good thing the camera's facing the other way, huh?
Does it make you upset when she says stuff like that?
So he just so that you know, he said, "Oh, what? Now you're gonna go look for a friend?"
So you get defensive.
Does it hurt your feelings that I feel like it would be easier for me to have someone who actually cared about what I said and listened? Well, if it hurts your feelings hearing me say that, and I've said it multiple times, then why does the situation not change?
What's a way that he could change the situation? Aside from listening, what is something that he could say to you or do that is a way to acknowledge that he hears the important things?
I think that it would be, I think there's things that we both could do. I feel like I could preface my conversations, and sometimes I feel like it's a test on my own part, which is unhealthy, I know. But I feel like sometimes I could say, hey, you know what, I have something that I would like to share with you. Do you have time? And then that way it gets his attention to stop what he's doing to look, and then I wait.
Mm-hmm.
But then it frustrates me that I have to do that. And I don't know if I'm having to do that because he legitimately can't hear me, or if I'm having to do that because he doesn't give a shit enough to stop what he's doing.
It's okay.
Sorry, I said a shit word.
It's okay.
So I don't know if I'm having to say that because he just doesn't care enough to. He knows I'm talking and saying something, but he's not saying, hang on, I can't hear you. Or, wait a minute, let me finish doing this so that I can give you my full attention. I feel like I would feel a whole lot more appreciated and valued and loved if. Don't look at me like that. It's true. I'm sharing my feelings. I feel like I would feel all of those things if he would just say, wait. I don't know what you're saying. Or hang on, I didn't hear that, instead of me having to ask, did you hear what I just said? And knowing he didn't. And then him pretending. We just go through this whole routine that is just ridiculous, and it just frustrates me and hurts me. And I know that I set him up for that, and that's not fair to him, but I also feel like it's not fair to me, so I kind of feel like that's what I do because I'm hurt. Or that's what I say because I'm hurting.
So what is something that she could say to you so that it's easier for you to focus, or so that you know that it's important to her?
No, she's gonna go out there and look for a new boyfriend.
I might keep that up.
Okay, but if we were talking about, seriously, what is something she could say to you if she's wanting to have a serious conversation with you about something that's important, so that you know, okay, I need to give her my full attention?
No, I give her my full attention.
That is
With my
not
deaf
true.
ear.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is true.
You know when I'm talking to you, and you know when I'm talking and you can't hear me. And yet you say that you hear me, but we both know that you can't because you don't want to say that you can't hear. And I get it. It's hard having something that makes you feel whatever it makes you feel.
What does it make you feel?
I don't know.
When somebody says something about you not being able to hear them, or when she says it, how does that make you feel? Does it frustrate you that having people tell you all the time? Or is it something that you just, how you said earlier, just roll with it and just kind of let it go?
What frustrates me is when she always tells everybody that I'm deaf.
But why do I tell people that?
Because you want to tell them.
No.
Yeah.
The only reason I say it is because they are experiencing what I feel. They're having a conversation with you, and you look at them and just kind of shrug your shoulders and say, uh-huh. And I know that that's not the answer or response to the question or the conversation that they're having. And so they look to me like, what just happened, and why did he say yes to that? Because that was an awkward response. So then I tell them, he can't hear very well. And then it makes you mad because I'm trying to protect you so that they don't think that you're being an ass. I'm trying to protect you to be like, he just can't hear you. You need to say it again, or have him look at you so that he can hear you with his eyes. But then you get frustrated at me because I'm trying to make the situation better. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to hurt. I want you to have the respect from people that you deserve. But I feel like you turn this whole thing off so that people don't. You don't want people to know that you can't hear, but in the meanwhile, in our profession, it's super dangerous. There's legal issues that can happen if we don't hear it correctly, if we don't respond correctly. And I feel like it's a huge liability to not only our profession, but to our relationship and to your relationships with other people. And so I try to help and bridge that gap where I don't know what would happen if I did just not respond.
So would it be better for you if you told them that you had trouble hearing instead of her telling them?
He wouldn't tell them.
Everybody knows, so I have to tell them.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they've asked me. They said, why does he respond that way? Why is he, what's going on? How come he was not friendly to me? I thought we were friends. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I said, hey, and tried to give him a high five, talked about something, and he just went, yeah, uh-huh, and turned around. Or, uh-huh, okay, and turned around in the middle of a conversation.
So what would be a good solution for that? You know?
How would you like that handled in that situation? If you knew someone responded that way to me, do you want them to think that you're a jerk? Do you want them to think that you're ignoring them and you don't care about
No.
them? So how would you like for me to respond if they approach me like that?
Send it to me.
Send it to you?
And what would you tell them? If somebody came up to you and was like, Natalie sent me over here to talk about why you think you don't seem to talk to me, what would you say?
Or why you responded inappropriately, or why you were rude to me, or what's going on. And you know that most people won't approach you. They'll be like, oh, never mind, I don't want to be confrontational. So they'll just leave you alone.
This is thing.
Yes, we're still recording.
Does it almost kind of embarrass you when people talk about your hearing?
No.
How
It
come
doesn't
how come
embarrass
it frustrates you though when she tells people, when she says that she's coming out of a caring place and she's trying to protect you so that they know who you really are instead of getting a certain
Well, first
opinion
time
of
is
you?
like she told them beforehand.
So
You're referring to one situation where I told our boss, right?
I don't know.
Yes, you are. You know you are. There's the only one person that I told beforehand. Right?
I don't remember, but
How is it that you don't remember but you're bringing up the situation?
I'm saying like most of the time before the conversation started, like,
So you want her to...
That's not true. I don't say that before people say anything. I only say it when I see a response. Otherwise, I just let you speak. Give me an example, Nate.
I don't remember.
You remember. Tell me. Tell me. When did I do that?
It's easy if you tell her so that she understands, so that the next time you meet somebody new or you're talking with somebody like a client or something, that way she knows how to handle it and how you're going to feel when the next thing comes up.
I don't know what to say.
So do you understand the position I'm coming from when I tell people that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I'm coming from a selfish position, or that I'm trying to hurt you by saying that?
No.
What do you think that I'm trying to do in saying something to people?
Like say protect us.
You think that's what she's trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it upsets you that I try to protect us?
No.
So what is something that we could work on together that kind of helps with the communication and for her being able to talk to you, but also with discussing the issue of telling others that you can't hear well or that you have hearing trouble?
How would you like for us to handle this? You don't know? Do you have an idea of what would make you feel better?
If you, let's say your son was going through this or your daughter, how would you want them to
Let me give
react
that to you.
or to tell you?
No sabe.
What's that? So if you don't know how you want me to react and you don't know what would make you happier, then if we can continue to do what we are doing right now, then you're not going to be frustrated when it happens. Wait, she's trying to help us with the resolution so she can finish the recording. So what's the resolution so she can finish the recording? I know you want it to stop, and I know you don't want to keep talking about this.
I don't mean to embarrass you or put you on the spot. I'm trying to help her.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, but nobody's going to see this except for my professor. I promise. And this is something that is on her mind and she wants to talk about.
Off record.
Off record.
Off record. Nobody's going to see this.
Yeah.
Well, why,
I'm just trying to come up.
So why would it need to be off record to talk about how to fix it?
I'm just trying to help. And then by giving it to my professor and showing her how I am working through the situation, maybe she can give me some tips or pointers that can help also.
Do you feel like hearing aids eventually would fix the situation? The
Yeah,
right kind of
maybe.
hearing aids?
Yeah.
If you could afford hearing aids, would you wear them?
A long time ago.
You would have a long time ago worn them?
Yeah.
So is that the solution, is working towards hearing aids? So that I don't have to say anything and you don't have to worry about that?
Yeah.
So if a situation comes up with a client and they don't understand and I say something, are you going to be frustrated with me? Yes, you are. I can see already in your face.
So what is something that she can say then
What?
that would be able to make it easier that way that you could tell the client or a colleague that, hey, just to let you know, I'm hard of hearing, so you're going to have to speak up a little bit. Or I don't know if Natalie's told you, but I am a little hard of hearing. I'm sorry if it comes across that I can't hear you or if I'm ignoring you. I promise I'm not. Would it be easier for you to say something like that?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah? So can we try that? So the next time you meet a new client, or instead of when you meet a new colleague, you can say, just let you know, I'm Nate, and just letting you know I'm a little hard of hearing, so if you ever try to talk to me in the office,
Learn sign language.
I just want to let you know I'm not ignoring you, or I'm not trying to be rude, I just can't hear you. Would that work?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Are you
Let's
just
try
saying yeah?
that. Let's try it. Okay?
Thanks.